That down, let's go on and talk about this for a second, shall we? Whenever the conversations are going around online about Avengers Doomsday and stuff like that, you've probably seen a lot of headlines going around saying, they're shooting Avengers Doomsday and the script's not even done yet. Yeah, you've all seen it. You've seen those reports going around. My God, they're making this movie and they don't even have a finished script. Well, Kevin Feige kind of addressed that and has debunked that nonsense. But he said they're doing something on Doomsday that they do with almost every single one of their movies. This comes to us from the folks over at Total Film, who wrote, at a press event, Kevin Feige denied that Marvel has ever started a movie without a full script. But he did say he's never been happy with a script or even a finished movie. It's kind of George Lucas like that. George Lucas always kind of felt that way. Instead, he said he and Marvel prefer plussing at every turn. In fact, there is plussing occurring on the set of Avengers Doomsday as we speak. This is what he said. There's plussing happening every day on Avengers Doomsday set right now, and it is amazing to watch because what those filmmakers, those actors, both the ones that are playing these characters for the first or second time and the one playing them for the 10th or 12th time are the best in the world at it and know these characters so well, Feige said. So if they have an idea, you want to listen to it and you want to adjust to it. So you want to improve it. I wouldn't want to change that. All right. A little bit of background on how Marvel has always made their movies. And it was pretty unique at the time when they started, but they've done it every single time. Kevin Feige has often talked about the fact that you never really know what a movie's going to be until you actually get on boots on the ground and start making it, right? You can have a script and things can come across a certain way on a page, but maybe sometimes they start coming across a little bit differently on a set. Now, for 95% of movies out there, too bad. You've got a fixed budget, you got so much money, and it costs money every hour that you waste. So you make your script and do the best you can and put it together in the edit and put the movie out. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. But for Kevin Feige, he said it's always been their thing that they try to remain a little bit more nimble when making their MCU movies. That if they're shooting a scene and something comes to life in a way that you didn't expect on the script, don't be afraid to follow it a little bit and maybe flourish it or build something around it a little bit if you can. That's part of the reason why Kevin Feige has said every single Marvel movie, they plan reshoots in advance because they know they're going to have further ideas along the way of making it, and they already book their time and budget to go into reshoots and to kind of explore some of those new ideas. As a matter of fact, famously, I think it was Thor 2, I think it was Thor the Dark World, where they were kind of struggling, like the script wasn't coming to life as they were shooting the movie as much as they wanted to. And so they famously got Joss Whedon, put him on a plane, flew him down there, and for 2 weeks kind of rewrote some pages and some dialogue, and those actually ended up being the best parts of the movie. But that's just what they do and what they always do. However, reports of that come out now and people forget that and they go, oh my God, they don't even have a finished script. So Feige is now completely debunking. Of course we have a finished script. We're just doing what we do on all of our movies, which is we adapt. We'll write new pages on the go depending on the feel of the movie and how it's flowing for us. So Rob, I look at this, to me, this is business as usual for Marvel. There's nothing new here. Of course they go in and start production with a finished script. But of course, as they have always done, they have the money and the flexibility to adapt as they go and, as he calls it, plussing things. I don't know. Are you surprised to hear this? What do you think of their approach? Sometimes it's had great effects, sometimes not so much. But what's your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, you have to have a sort of a semblance of a finished script because you need to budget and schedule a film.
Yes.
I mean, you have to know how many days they're shooting, how many pages are we going to shoot a day, all this. There's all these questions to answer, and that's what a script is the basis of. That said, like Kevin Feige points out, if you go back and you listen to stories, Jeff Bridges tells a story about how on Iron Man 1, they would go into a trailer and it was him and Favreau, who's a gifted writer, and he's in there with Robert Downey Jr., and the three of them came up with better dialogue scenes and better things that happen. I mean, I'll bet you that in the back of the Humvee at the beginning of Iron Man, when they're throwing gang signs, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of that was Robert Downey Jr. improv, and they go with it because when you have a guy, Robert Downey Jr. has been acting since the 80s. You know, you have to be, if you're an actor at some point, you are a fan of the written word because you're acting written words. And so if you're a gifted person and you're a witty human being, you can come, and you know your character, you come up with things, you know. And I think that they've talked about that all through the history of making these Marvel movies, that somebody would, Chris Hemsworth tells the story about a kid coming to visit the set of Thor Ragnarok, and the kid visiting set said, "Why don't you say that he's a friend from work?" And Chris Hemsworth, that's where that line comes from. And that kid who was visiting set said this, and they throw that in, and that becomes, he's a friend from work. You know, that's what
I love that they're not so precious with their stuff, that if they hear a great idea, they don't go, get out of here with that. Like they're kind of open to say, if something sounds good,
well, yeah,
something works, let's incorporate it.
I mean, it's not like the theater. It's not like you're doing Arthur Miller or David Mamet or something. I mean, and that's what makes these movies fun. And if somebody hears if you have a great idea and somebody hears a great idea, and what is a movie set, but it's full of professionals working at the top of their game, all knowing what they're doing. And if they have a good idea, you know, my favorite director, Stanley Kubrick, used to send his assistant out to all the different department heads every day before they started shooting and said, Mr. Kubrick would like to know, what are your ideas for the day? Or is there anything you could, and he would use those ideas. You know, if you want to be a tyrannical, you know, despot on a set, you're going to miss out on all the great people that are working for you. And that's one of the things that you have to be open to. And I can only imagine all of the actors on the set of Doomsday, that has to be one of the funniest, one of the most gloriously entertaining movie sets to be on. I can't even imagine getting a shot off, because how are you going to contain all those people? It'd be like herding cats. It's going to be, if nothing else, I expect some of that energy to come out and be in that film. I can't wait. I mean, look, it's either going to be one of the greatest movies ever made, or it ain't going to work at all.
Oh my God.
But I'll tell you this, I really want to see it.
Yeah. Again, listen, look, the track record of the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige working together is perfect. It is literally perfect. The 4 movies that the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige have made together are Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. That's the track record of that combination of people.
4 of the greatest comic book movies ever made.
Yeah, 4 of them. They're in all 4 of them are in the conversation. That said, Marvel, and I'm a huge Marvel fan, but Marvel the last couple of years have been more hit and miss than they've ever been. Some great ones, some not so great ones. And I am a massive Joe and Anthony fan. I love those guys. They've always been very nice to me. They've been very generous. They're fantastic. I love them. But their work since Endgame, their work not working with Kevin Feige in the pursuing years, I'm not going to lie, and I'll only speak from my own personal perspective, has not been their best stuff. I don't think I have truly loved anything they've made since then. So, I mean, I think you're right. I think it can go either. Like, are we going to, now that Kevin and the Russos are together working on something, we're going to get that Civil War magic back? Or are we going to get the hit and miss and the not so great stuff?
I don't want the electric state, and I was really looking forward to that.
And
I don't want the electric state of the Marvel Universe.
Don't be the electric state of the Marvel Universe.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, it feels like workplace stress is higher than ever these days. And I was just reading that about 61% of the global workforce is dealing with above normal levels of stress. And honestly, it's not surprising. When you're stuck in endless Zoom meetings, juggling deadlines, or just trying to keep your head above water, it adds up. Now, sure, a quick vacation sounds nice, but let's be real. It's not a long-term fix. What's helped me is building small wellness habits. For me, it's things like getting outside in the sun for a few minutes or squeezing in a brisk walk during breaks. But for a lot of people, sometimes that's just not enough, and that's where therapy can really help. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform with over 30,000 therapists who've already helped over 5 million people worldwide. Their app is super convenient. You can meet with a therapist with just a click, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime. And just listen to the user reviews. The BetterHelp app has a 4.9 out of 5 from over 1.7 million reviews. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Kevin Feige's shooting down the things that they don't even have finished script. Yes, they do. They're just doing what they've done on all their movies. They adapt, they write new stuff as they go because it's starting to come together and they see it coming to life on, on a set that doesn't necessarily happen when you're just reading the script. Anyway, good move, bad move, whatever you take away from it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.